the meeting to order. If everyone could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we would like to have a public hearing for our DORA expansion. Is there anyone in the audience that is here to speak in favor of the DORA expansion? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak against the DORA expansion? Okay, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. We'll take us over to new business, and I will take that over to our administrator.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to allocate monies from the One Ohio opioid settlement.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion?
As far as right now on the funding, I got Friday additional notice that I think it's a 1-year period. There's going to be an additional like $20,000 for coming. It's not that it's received yet, but it will fall under the same pool of money. It's just from Walmart and a couple other places. So I just want to preface that ahead of time. I think specific to what was proposed, I think whether, we look, it's about $1,000 on average for each visit. If we target, 10, I've got to imagine, I don't know if there's, like a down month, if there's a down month, not that this type of stuff ever knows limits, or the holidays a worst period of time, because as much as people think they're happy, they're actually more stressful for a lot of folks. So is there potential increased need there? I think just in noting, if we go, based upon their numbers of $1,000 per, could say up to 11 months or 11 events.
Yeah, I left it blank to whatever you guys wanted to put in there. Are you when you vote on it, I guess you can say 10 or 11. 11 would expend the majority and leave a little extra. And that would be 11 times that they're coming to Plain Township, providing peer support, providing the drug drop-off, the doTERRA bags, Narcan. So that's serving the Plain Township community. So I think that's the important part of ABO's proposal, is that it's serving Plain Township directly.
And they're the only ones that have spoke up or put in a proposal for anything?
Honestly,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know
only
who
thing
else.
we have right now. I think as we're gonna get money over 10 years.
Yeah.
So looking forward, I know Chief had some ideas, and maybe, we can look at those ideas coming next.
we've sat on this so far we're pushing over a year on these funds. So, I don't think this is an open-ended with these guys. I think I would challenge department heads and the full board to, if we find other ideas,
Yeah.
To bring them
to
forward.
bring them forward, because like I said, just on Friday, had got another agreement to sign off. They'll pull in a little over $20,000. In the grand scheme, given the epidemic, it's not huge money, but it is money that can make a meaningful impact in my, if we're counting on people to go to where the help is versus it coming
Okay,
into
any
the
further
community.
discussion?
Well, I just need to know how many, you guys have to determine how many months.
Probably 11.
All right, so
And I'll
that's what you'll be
take it
voting
to
on.
it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you.
And we have nothing under the sheriff's report. That'll take us over to the fiscal officer report.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a resolution to authorize payment of pending warrants in the amount of $993,986.21.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in the amount not to exceed $250,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 4 is a resolution to authorize the following transfer of funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
That concludes the fiscal officer report.
Thank you, Tom. Now take us over to the administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution expanding an existing designated outdoor refreshment area known as the Oakwood Square Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area, enacting the regulations below.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Admin 2 is a resolution to authorize purchase and payments to Sarchione Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for a sheriff's vehicle.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment to Sarchione Ford for repair of a sheriff vehicle.
So moved.
Second. Discussion?
The end of, even after the repairs, what's gonna be the confidence level on this cruiser being able to?
Oh, this is not the cruiser that
This
was,
wasn't?
no, this
Okay.
is just $2,300 for a mechanical issue.
Alright,
The sheriff's cruiser that was hit, the adjuster came out and we should get his response soon.
alright, that's what I was
Yeah.
concerned, because, yeah, I'm not of, regardless of how insurance renders, there was not a lot of confidence
It's
by some of
not-
the deputies
yeah,
talking to
the-
me.
No, this is the heater box and they're replacing the
Yeah.
core on here and,
But the
removing the
adjuster
police
isn't,
package.
yeah, the adjuster isn't confident that that vehicle is gonna get
Okay.
fixed.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 4 is a resolution to enter into an agreement with iWork for our current zoning enforcement permit management that we have in place and to add Payrock to it.
I was so moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Thank you for all of the work on this and helping streamline this stuff further. I know there's been a lot of work with the department heads on this.
And Payrock is gonna allow everybody to make online payments, it's only $900 to
That's
add
gonna
it.
be-
And
yeah.
just to be able to access permits 24/7, I mean, to do business with the township 24/7, to be able to pay online will be a huge thing for our
I know
residents.
our township residents are gonna be very appreciative of this that's being offered. All right, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a resolution to enter into an agreement with iWork for a citizen engagement module.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
Yeah, I think for $4,700 a year, this is a great value that we're gonna be able to have a citizen engagement model on the website where residents can, report high grass, they can upload pictures. Tom or Megan will be able to interact and say, let them know through the work order, it was inspected on this date, when it's gonna be mowed, or a pothole reported, and the minute that Drew addresses it, they get an email back letting them know, here's the plan, here's what we're doing. So an animal in the road, a downed tree, it's just a great way for our residents to report, and you can do it either on our webpage or it'll be available on your phone also. So I think it's just gonna be a faster way for us to get things done and easier way for people to report things to the township.
Well, just under $400 a month, you figure the time in sending folks out to run, investigate, we will far save in labor.
Well, hell yeah, reduce our overhead costs a
Yes, think
ton.
about.
It won't reduce them, it'll make us more efficient. It'll make us more efficient because we still have the labor cost,
Yeah.
where
But,
time gets reappropriated.
Think about somebody saying high grass and they upload a picture and the address, that's saving one visit already out there. So that's saving our inspectors time, and you can get the process started a lot more quickly, so, really the possibilities for this is really great as far as time management and accessibility to the township.
Roll call?
Thank you.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Item number 6 is a resolution to enter into an agreement with, it's blank for discussion, for a custom web page design and implementation.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
All right, so I'll start this off that we've had the same web page design for over 18 years, probably longer, but I've been here 18 years. It's time for a whole new update. We need a website that,
New UI, UX experience,
Yes.
user interface. user
yeah,
experience.
and that is also ADA compliant, so if somebody is colorblind, they can choose the color that they're looking at. So it's time, so we've done a deep dive, as you're all aware, because I've had the board in on some webinars, I've had, on Zoom calls, I've had all of the department heads in many Zoom calls. And it came down to two that I'm presenting you tonight. One is a company called Revise. I spoke to Alan Harold's office about Revise because that's who the county has, and they went through the implementation, that's who they're using. And for Revise, to do all the project planning, the template developments, the testing, the site map development, all of the reorganization, the total including the first year of maintenance is $16,880. And all of the department heads are comfortable with Revise. What's nice is the iWorks will be able to be linked right to our homepage, so it all works together. And then the other quote I got was from Civic Plus, and we had really liked them too, and they do very much the same thing. However, the total investment there was almost $48,000, so big difference in price.
Well, I would make a motion that we move forward with the revised REVIZE proposal for website project and services. I
Yeah.
can tell you from firsthand experience, that is a reasonable cost, because I've had to previously overhaul a prior company website. It's very time consuming.
Well, and after 5 years, we get a complete overhaul. So that's included after 5 years. And with that resolution, that would be for $16,880 with a 5-year annual renewal of $4,100.
And I will second that then, if we do need a second for that information that we just edited within that original motion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm just scrolling, I'll get to my next item. Okay, item number 7 is a resolution to adopt the Plain Township inventory and asset policy.
So moved.
Second, discussion?
This is just rewritten, I don't know how old our last one was, probably close to 10, 15 years. This is just a much more descriptive, expanded policy.
So moved.
Roll call.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that's the end of the administrator report.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. That'll take us over to Chief with the Fire Department.
Okay, thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution, the fire department is recommending for a renewal of our 8.7 mil levy to be placed on the November 5th ballot.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
After going through all the budget stuff with, department head, or the administrator, along with, trustees individually, we think that'll get us for 5 more years. And to be financially responsible right now with the current financial climate.
I think I want to stress, we do know it's gonna be a squeeze. It's gonna be a squeeze, but it's not practical to even look at a half mil increase again with what we're seeing at the state level with, property tax calculations and how the legislature's looking how to alleviate some of the burden. We know it's a reality, so I would echo, it's the practical thing to do. It's easier to go at this now, and then if we get 3 years in, have to revisit, but I just want that on the record so the public realizes that if in 3 years something would come up, it's been discussed.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
That concludes fire department, thank you.
I think that was the shortest fire department one we've had this year. That'll take us over to Drew with the road department.
Thank you. Road number 1 is a resolution to authorize payment for a purchase of a 2024 Booker V65T road sweeper for the Republic First National Corporation. Payments to be taken from capital fund 4915-760-750-000 road sweeper.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Board item number 2 is a resolution to enter into an agreement with iWorks Systems for a public works management software services.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 3 is a resolution to authorize payment to Wingcart Law Group for legal services for the Orion Street Northwest Improvement Project Phase 1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Just so everybody knows that the project has been penned, and it's out for bid. We're open bids July 11th.
Perfect.
Just as an offshoot of this, because I know I at least sent it to the board, I don't know if the department heads, but is it the Congresswoman's elected official breakfast at the airport for phase 2 of that project? We certainly need to be giving some thought and engaging and exploring if there's a chance to pull federal funding back in, because there was a little over $14 million brought back into the district in fiscal year 24. There's up to typically 15 projects they can get for the area. Historically, there's only been about 4 without the district. There's current funding request in the amount of about $38 million. So outside of what we've leaned into through OHM and so forth, I believe, Lisa, you may have reached out just to the Congresswoman's office. Let's be looking at that, so how we can potentially request some pull money in for infrastructure.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Road item number 4 is a resolution to authorize services and payment to Abbott Electric for new 3-phase electrical service installed at the road department at 6300 Heminger Court Northeast.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And that concludes road.
Thank you, Drew. That'll take us over to the zoning department. Tom?
Thank you, ma'am. Item number 1 is a resolution to declare items A and B as nuisance abatements.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
And item number 2 is a resolution to declare items A through C as nuisance abatement
So
A.
moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
That concludes zoning.
Thank you, Tom. That takes us over to the Parks Department. Rob?
Thanks. Item number 1 is a resolution to enter into an agreement with iWork for a parks management package.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 2 is a resolution to approve payment to Brian DePee for amphitheater entertainment.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 3 is a resolution to authorize work and payment to Hilsher Clark for installation of LED lights in the stairwells for the amphitheater.
So moved.
Second, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Thanks. That concludes parks.
We have nothing under the law director. That'll take us over to communications. Ms. Campbell?
Thank you. We have one cute little hand-drawn letter that says, "Thank you firefighters for coming. My favorite part was spraying the hose." Very sweet.
That was from the Glen program. Summer program.
Summer,
Very good
that's summer
stuff.
camp stuff or?
Yeah, there's a lot of kids over
Oh,
there
yeah.
about this summer.
Okay.
Oh, you know, that was number 2. I'm sorry. Number 1 was verbal. I was just excited about the letter. I received a phone call from a resident on Glenview who was extremely appreciative of the paving, how phenomenal that their roads look, and that they have friends coming over who are very envious that their roads look so great. So good job to the road guys.
Well, thank you for the communications. This will take us over to the portion of public speaks. If we've reached that segment of the meeting, we welcome any audience member who wishes to address the board. You may refer to our public speaks format that is located on the back desk. You can approach the podium or stay seated, whichever you prefer. Please provide your name and address to the fiscal officer for the minutes. Please note that in accordance with Plain Township's regulations, each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to ensure all viewpoints are heard effectively, fostering fairness and accommodating diverse perspectives within the allotted time frame. Keep in mind that this is not a question and answer format, but an opportunity to speak. The board respects the rights of citizens to present differing opinions, views, and criticisms. Both the board and citizens are expected to respect the comments of others while maintaining the highest levels of decorum. Is there anyone that would like to speak at this time? Seeing none, we don't have any concerns or trustees. Anything under the fiscal officer for concerns?
No concerns.
Okay, that'll take us over to the approval of minutes for June 11th. I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes. At this time, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:20.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Harless?
Yes.
Mr. Sabo?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.